I am 100% honest with you guys when I say I think Dazzler is the best champion for BG's attack that we have seen in over a year now. And I know people are going to say, oh, but 2024 was a terrible year for BG's attackers. It was not the best compared to previous years, but there are still some really good picks to come from it, like White Tiger and Prowler are ones that come to my head immediately. But this champion is absurd. We have so many BG's fights in this video to get to, and yeah, we're just gonna get into it. One thing I do want to say is that I have a lot of other Dazzler content outside of BG's that I'm saving for a full showcase. I'm not going to show all of my tricks yet, I'm going to wait till then, and then we're going to have a lot more Dazzler gameplay for that big showcase in 1 to 2 weeks. And then one more thing before we get in, I want to talk about the SIG ability first. My Dazzler is unduped. All of the fights are going to be from an unduped Dazzler, obviously, but what the dupe does is it lets her take no damage from physical attacks when striking the opponent. Meaning you can tank Korg's Thorns, Atuma's Thorns, Killmonger's Reverberation, just to name a few. So it makes all three of those fights insanely easier. You also reflect some of that damage. And then also the secondary part is you get to gain a Pursuit passive when you perform your Dazzling Dash attack. And that just opens up the matchup for Bullseye. And then finally, I'm trying to see if it's even possible for me to reach 7,000 subscribers before the new year starts. By the time this video goes public, there will be 12 hours left in my year. So if you guys would like to help get me there and see if it's possible to get it in those 12 hours, that would be absolutely fantastic, and I'd appreciate you so much for it. If we don't, no big deal. It's just a random challenge I decided to come up with earlier today as of the time of recording this. So we'll just see what happens, right? But let's get into the BG's fights. We're going to be going through these class by class, starting with the skill class, and we have a rank 3 SIG 150 something Killmonger, and I'm going to go ahead and reiterate the fact that if your Dazzler is awakened, then you are going to be able to not have to worry about when you are triggering Killmonger's Reverberation, because you just won't take damage from it. Normally when you fight Killmonger, the goal is to make him trigger his reverb when he's at very low power, because then it's going to be much less potent, and that's what you're going to see me doing in this fight. However, you do not need to worry about that at all when your Dazzler's awakened, because Killmonger's Reverberation damage is physical damage. And another thing I want to point out in this fight is that I'm playing this a lot more risky than I need to be. This was like one of the first Dazzler fights I actually took, and I was playing her a little weird where I do the Dazzling Dash attack and then immediately follow up with a heavy. It's unnecessary risk, and I don't do this for a lot of my fights after this one. And then there you saw me waste a bunch of time waiting on the reverb to go away because he wouldn't throw a special. That's fine, it made the fight last like 10 more seconds, but it's whatever. And that's Killmonger, with an unduped Dazzler, who can do it in probably 40 seconds-ish, if awakened. And then next up is Korg, who also has the physical damage stuff that we would be preventing, if my Dazzler is awakened, but that's okay. We are going to just do normal intercepts. One thing I actually thought originally was that Dazzler was going to have energy damaging lights and mediums. She doesn't. She has an energy damaging heavy attack, but it means that her medium attacks are still going to be triggering Thorns. Your specials are also going to be energy damaging, so it's really just her lights and mediums that are physical. So the medium attacks are the only ones that you have to worry about with Korg's Thorns when you're playing an unduped Dazzler. So at that point, it's just about getting to an SP2 and then he just lights out, right? We took some damage back by using my mediums at inopportune times, but we still killed him in 40 seconds and got a 49.5k score, and I'm not complaining with that one. We're gonna do Korg one more time. I promise there's only like a couple of defenders that I do twice, just because I want to show them as many times as I feel necessary. And this Korg is going to be where we're much more intentional about not using medium attacks at inopportune times. Also, the game took me so long to get into this fight. We lost 10 seconds based off of loading time, which is fantastic, but we're going to be very intentional about light intercepts. I think that was when I learned that her medium was not energy as well, because this fight was actually recorded before the one you saw prior. And yeah, we're going to be going for that SP1 into SP2 cycle. And then I found out that the medium was going to be a physical damaging hit. Now, we're doing a lot of light intercepts. Her light attack is really, really good for intercepting. Some characters have better light attacks for intercepting based off of how far it pushes them forward or closer to the opponent. Dazzler's pushes herself very far across the screen, so it gives you easier intercepts. There's a couple characters that I just feel are much easier to intercept that way. So here's Bullseye. I don't have an actual Bullseye fight because I think you really want your Dazzler to be awakened, but I do want to show some interesting things about it. Firstly, Dazzler doesn't benefit from the Dex Mastery, so you do not bleed when you Dex Bullseye's mediums. She benefits from dodge. So if you are good at Dexing Bullseye's Special 1, which I'm not, I know there's a lot of people who can do that with 60 FPS. I can't. I haven't really practiced it enough, so I'm sure I could if I tried enough. But if you're good at that and you can full dex his SP1, you're not going to take any bleed damage from it, which is really, really cool. And if you Dazzler's Awakened, you can work to get the Dazzling Dash attack going to get your pursuit. What you saw me do at the start of the fight there was drop a heavy attack right after my stun fell away, and then the heavy attack that landed when he wasn't stunned gave me 5 extra charges, and then I got 5 more charges by hitting him when he was standing up. And that just gives me an immediate 10 tempo, an immediate Dazzling Dash attack whenever I need it, and that's how you would trigger your pursuit if your Dazzler is awakened. And just go from there, from an SP1 into an SP2, right? So, next up we're fighting Dust. Dust was just a menace this meta. You can't ever parry her unless she throws a medium like right next to you without it being a dash attack. But Dazzler just did a really good job at fighting her. There, you're going to see me do the unnecessary risk of doing the medium into a heavy. That works if they're in the corner, but if they are not in the corner, it's an unnecessary risk. So I don't do this in a lot of fights, but again, this was one of my earlier Dazzler fights. And I just like to do that, where I go for the medium into her SP1, and then throw a heavy if they're in the corner, and then the SP2, or SP1, SP2 cycle just neuters them. Like, it completely destroys defenders. That was 44 seconds. You can't counter Dust specials with a lot of champs at all, but Dazzler is one who can do so. And another thing you can't counter very easily is Onslaught specials. You can obviously do the whole dash-in thing, where you dash in before his last 2 hits on the SP1. However, if you're not comfortable doing that kind of thing, you can use Dazzler, who just does it like that. The thing you do need to be aware of is that if Onslaught has a Neuroshock on you, he cannot miss. So don't ever do the Dazzling Dash when you have a Neuroshock on you, at least not to counter his SP1. That is just going to go very badly for you, and I don't recommend it. However, Dazzler doesn't crit too much on her basic attacks, and she's always able to remove them because she's not metal, so you don't have to worry about having too many Neuros on you, especially with how often you're dashing back and forward with a character like Dazzler. So, 49-second Onslaught fight, absolutely beautiful. And then next up we're fighting Domino. She is not a great Domino counter, but she can work. And there's a weird aspect ratio in this clip. I re-recorded it off of a stream a little wrong, but I hope you don't mind that too much. And then I can't hit block in this meta, which is really annoying, but that's okay. Dazzler doesn't have a lot that Domino can fail. What Domino can fail is really bad, specifically the energy vulnerability and the buffs on her SP2. Now, I don't think they're unaffected by ability accuracy reduction. There's a chance that they are, because I got them both on my first attempts to not trigger. There, the stun failed, so that could have been bad. Obviously less bad if it's a meta where they're not getting unstoppable, and you can get the pursuit on the Sig ability that allows you to, fight Domino better when she's lucky. However, I'm just gonna wait out this lucky here, drop an unblockable SP2, and that's gonna be lights out for Domino. Again, I only tried this matchup once, so it could go better, it could also go worse. but I was pretty impressed with how that went. I think that was a Sig 200 Domino, or at least very high Sig if it wasn't Sig 200. So I'm very happy with how that score went, especially from a character that I wasn't expecting to be able to take Domino at all, and I was just testing it on a stream. Next up, we're fighting Sinister, another character that I didn't think Dazzler could take originally, because of the fact that your SP2 is critting so hard that he's just going to regen all that back, right? Well, that's normally the case unless we build up the SP2 so strong that it just nukes him anyway. And the way I'm going to do that is by doing 2 SP1s. What that's going to do is it's basically going to guarantee that I'm at 100 tempo when I'm ready to launch an SP2. I also neglected to dex his special 2, meaning I'm taking a lot more chip damage because I'm not necessarily comfortable dexing it. It's one of my least favorite specials to dex in this game. However, we're at a point now where I can just go for the nuke. I need 1 combo extender here by baiting his heavy attack, and then I have the relic. I'm going to go for the SP2 with my max amount of tempo, and just hope that I can kill him through the regen, and we absolutely can. Because of how potent that resonance is, with it being 110% potency, and then going even further based off of the energy vulnerability, and then the final hit just doing so much that he can't even regen it back, he's dead, and it was so glorious. That's one of my favorite fights in this video, and yeah, it just went so well. Next up, we're fighting Weapon X. This is a 6-star Weapon X, but I promise you this is gonna look basically the same if you're fighting a 7-star. You're gonna drop the SP1 here. The only thing you need to worry about in this fight is Weapon X just being Weapon X, and then the fact that he is going to go unstoppable if he misses. So you want to keep him in the corner, keep him throwing specials if you can help it. Like here, the falter was still active, so he kept going unstoppable, but we just dropped the unblockable SP2 and it doesn't matter. Like, this is, oh my gosh, I freaking love this character so much. 41 seconds, full health, rank 3 Weapon X still dies to that. Oh my gosh, dude, she's so good. Alright, next up we're fighting a rank 3 Storm Pyramid X. Storm Pyramid X is only a great defender in specific metas. I don't think this is one of the specific metas where she's a very good defender, but we're going to show it anyway. I do like when you're fighting Storm. Oh my gosh, I paused to see if I was recording, so we just lost like 5 seconds there. I do like to see if characters can handle being able to be glanced on basics, because it is a very interesting utility for a character who's coming later, like Maestro. Because if they can't get glanced on basics, then that's just another really nice utility piece for Maestro, and most characters in this game only glance on basics. So, if you're unaffected by glancing on basic attacks, you're basically unaffected by glancing in general. There, I am absolutely garbage at this game, and I somehow messed up one of the easiest SP1s to dex. So, all that health lost shouldn't have been lost. And we still drop the unblockable SP2, and it still kills. With not as much tempo as I'd have liked to have. So that was like 50 seconds. If I didn't pause, check I was recording for some reason. It works much better than what you just saw. And yeah, Pyramid X is a trap defender in some metas, so very good to know. Next up, we're fighting Red Skull. This was a matchup that I definitely would not have expected to be possible, but it is. And we're going to do the same thing we did against Sinister, where we double SP1. I'm going to say this is one matchup that I would never do intentionally, because, like, when would you ever use a mutant versus Red Skull? Unless it's maybe Onslaught. And, yeah, you don't want to do this too often, because if crit resist or crit RNG, I should say, messes with you really badly, then the fight goes really badly. Because of the fact he is innate crit resist and innate energy resist via the armors, it can be screwy. However, this was the second attempt on the fight. The first attempt I only didn't think went well because I went for 1 SP1 instead of 2, when we want to go for 2 for the max tempo. And yeah, the SP2 killed him, right? Rank 3 Red Skull, with class disadvantage, 65 seconds, almost full health. That's definitely replicable. Like, that's not something that I think is extremely lucky. It's not something I'd try very often, but I think that is a very replicable fight, and we'll just see in the future if I ever need to do it again, right? So, next up we're fighting Future Ant-Man. The way this fight goes wrong is if his armors just start stacking up way too high based off of RNG. This was a first attempt of the fight, so I'm not replaying the fight for better RNG or anything. So, if this goes well, then it's either good RNG or a good matchup. I can't really guarantee either one for you. However, I just know I thought this fight went really well. We're going to go for the SP1 here. Being able to intercept very easily with the Dazzling Dash attack makes this fight a lot better for sure. Being able to counter his SP2 via the Dazzling Dash attack is also huge, because this is another special attack like Dust SP1 that is normally uncounterable, but that dash attack is just so strong that it doesn't even matter. And through Fantman's SIG ability protection, which only allows him to take 10% from a single source, combined with the resonance, we were able to kill him in 1 SP1, 1 SP2. Beautiful. Like, I think that went really well, and also could be replicable based off of RNG. Now this fight also goes pretty well. This Iron Man Infinity War, I think this fight is less RNG than the Fantman fight, but still some RNG to it. The reason for that is because he does gain innate crit resist via the armors, similar to how Red Skull does it, but different to Red Skull, Iron Mans have a duration to them, so it's not like we have to always deal with it. If I need to, I can go to the SP2, hold it for his armors to go away, and then drop an unblockable SP2 as long as my energy vulnerability is still there, which it should be. I was very intentional with heavy attacks in this fight to make sure I get the highest tempo possible at 100 right there, and yeah, that SP2 was absolutely absurd. So, 51-second fight. 51-second Iron Man Infinity War with a mutant. Try replicating that with a different mutant. Anyway, next up we're fighting a Mega Sentinel, rank 3 OS. Mega Sentinel's not necessarily a meta defender or anything, but like, again, this is a mutant taking a Sentinel. This shouldn't be happening. A character should not be strong enough for that to happen. But Dazzler is. So, she can gain energy resistance via her placing her personal debuffs on me. And normally you'd want to do that type of thing for willpower healing, but you don't with Dazzler, because if you have a cowardice on you, you do not gain buffs on the SP2. So, I could be dexing her special one. In fact, I'm pretty good at it, so I don't know why I don't do it. But I just chose not to. And then I should have heavy attacked there instead of a 4-8 combo. She still dies. I was a little close to not killing. I wish I ramped a little bit more tempo, but it's still 53 seconds. I should have saved a lot more health by dexing the SP1s, so take that as you will. Next up we're fighting Maestro. This is the only Cosmic defender on the showcase, as I don't think Cosmic has very good defenders in general. They only have Serpent, Maestro, Terrax. Dazzler could definitely do Terrax, but I never actually fought a Terrax. And then she does not take Serpent. She can dex his specials, but the crit resistance, shall I say, that Serpent has just messes it up. So here, I just play it stupid and eat an SP1. You can absolutely Dazzling Dash attack into his SP1 and make it miss you, and then just counter it on the spot like that. And I think we're going to do that here. If I just don't suck at the game, or we might just kill him, that also works. We're pushing SP2. But you can 100% dash into the SP1. Glancing on basics just doesn't mean anything. The SP3 still kills a rank 3 Maestro. Or SP2 still kills a rank 3 Maestro. 52 seconds, should have been full health. What a champion, right? So, we move on to the Mystic class, starting with the most, shall I say, polarizing defender in the game right now. I'd say some people think Enchantress is pretty easy to fight. Some people think she's the worst defender in the game to fight, like on Serpent levels. I think she's not that bad if you can just nuke her, but then I guess if some nodes get into play, then it kind of sucks. I'm kind of in the middle with how Enchantress is as a defender on those two sides, but Yeah, nuking her is like one of the best ways to take her. You do have to remove the spells immediately, of course you do. And this Enchantress did not want to throw a heavy attack at all, so I lose almost 10% via block damage at the start of the fight. That's really cool. Get a really nice light intercept there, and here I just need to go for the heavy attack. Gonna Dazzling Dash right there. Place the Falter, really cool. SP1. Do I bait her special here, or do I just... Okay, I anti-bait, and then I'm gonna need to get an opening right here, bait a heavy attack. She doesn't throw the special, which is really good, and then we can just kill her like this. We have the Rampage buff from the relic increasing my special damage, and then this barely kills her because we didn't have a lot of tempo, right? But kills her regardless in 48 seconds, and a lot of health was just lost to her sucking. And that's kind of just Enchantress AI for you, so I can't really blame my health loss on that, when it's just gonna happen a lot of times you fight her. But, you know, it's what are you gonna do about it? So, next up, we're fighting Sasquatch. This is the biggest defender health pool in the game right now, except for the few people who have, like, rank 4 Onslaughts or whatever. I don't think there's a rank 4 Sasquatch in the game right now, but I guess if you have a rank 4 Onslaught, he's probably got more health than this Sasquatch. Maybe, can't confirm that. But Dazzler can kill him in 1 SP1, 1 SP2, because she just has the range for that. We just need to be intentional about maxing out our tempo if we can help it, and then we're kind of chilling. Can't hit his block this meta, and I'm going to go for heavy attack right there. That was one of those risky heavy attacks that I don't like doing if I can help it. And now that he's in Wrath, he gave me an early Wrath, luckily. So if he doesn't give you an early Wrath, then this fight might feel a little worse, but he did. And we finished in 50 seconds. Probably replicable. I think I did this on a stream where it went even faster. Like, that one was not on stream, though, so I did that fight like twice, and I think the other time went faster, and I just didn't even record it. But yeah, Dazzler's really good. So we move on to Wong. Wong is one of those defenders I'll classify as you want to kill him fast, otherwise it's going to be pain. And he's not like a very common defender, especially with the way the science class is right now, so take with that as you will. However, Dazzler's just going to do a really, really good job here. We go for an SP1. His physical resists from his spells don't matter. If you suck at dexing his SP2 like I do, you can just dash into it. And then that's pretty chill. So, anti-beta special here. Go for the Dazzling Dash attack, which I didn't need to do at all, so I don't know why I did. And then we don't even see the final hit. We got some really nice crits on that SP2. And 41-second Wong fight. Pretty cool. Next up is Werewolf. Kind of the same deal as Wong. He's really just here to chip down your health a little bit. With the current state of the science class, that's all he can do. And then there's Rupture Immune characters. So he does have a very high health pool. It's close to Sasquatch's health. I think it's top 5. However, he doesn't have damage resistance like Sasquatch does. He does have regen like Sasquatch does. So he is still going to be a tank on defense. But science doesn't really care about that. They nuke him a lot better than they nuke Sasquatch, which is already pretty good. But can't hit his block, that sucks, but it's okay. Got a Rupture on me. It's barely willpower healing, so I definitely don't want to get multiple on me. But we go for the SP1 here, get perfect on the blasts, and then I get extra tempo. Place the energy vulnerability. I kind of wish I went for a relic into a heavy spam. I didn't choose to do that, but I'm going to go for a heavy there, wait for him to stand up, and then this SP2 just, yeah, he's dead. Also, when I said regen, I should have thought about the fact that the regen is only if he's in Lycanthropy, which is not going to be very often when you're fighting him on defense. So, you know, I probably should have just said no regen, basically, but, you know, he does have it. Next up, we're fighting Dr. Doom. This fight, I lost a lot of health because, firstly, I can't parry because of game lag. That's awesome. But Dazzler has an immunity, believe it or not. Her immunity is Nullify, meaning once Doom gains his aura... Oh my gosh, I'm stupid. I hit his block. Anyway, once Doom gains aura, you can not have to worry about the Nullify. And then I believe I'd SP1 into his thing, he didn't punish me. And then game lag prevented me from actually doing... Oh my gosh, this fight went terribly. Game lag prevented me from nailing my tempo correctly. That's super cool. Am I going to go for another SP1 to make up for it? Yes, I am. Anyway, this fight goes so much better than you're seeing here. A lot of just lag and stupidity on my part messed it up. But another hard special that you can just dash into, and then the defender dies. He has crit resist. Who cares? His health pool is small enough to where even if the only hit is the actual guaranteed crit, which crit resist wouldn't affect, then you win. Next up, we're fighting Photon. Rank 3 Photon and then a 6-star Photon. Photon is a tricky defender for Dazzler because of her innate inequity mastery and, more specifically, energy resist. The energy resist and inequity combined make your Dazzler SP2 hit a lot worse. So, what you have to do is do double SP1, which I believe we've only used for 2 defenders in this video, that being Sinister and Red Skull. That's the only time we've really needed it. I think Photon is going to be the other time you do need it. You also need to be careful about the fact that when you're using your Dazzling Dash, I only want to dash in to make the defender miss when I am countering her specials when she's not in pure light. Because if you medium and she blocks it, you're going to stun her, and then you have to deal with her being untouchable, so you can't do anything really. And then if you medium and she goes for the intercept or just like messes with you, you have to be careful because Photon's mediums never miss, and then she can't ever miss ever if she is in pure light form. So here, we're about to launch the SP2. I need her to drop a special here. The dodge, meaning that Dazzler is not benefiting from Dex. The dodge mechanic is super awesome, so you can just Dex her specials as much as you want when she's in pure light. And then yeah, you saw she still lived. We had like max inequity triggers because I think I had 6 or more debuffs on me when I dropped my SP2. That's just gonna happen. Like, she's really good at countering Photon. The problem is Photon just resists so much damage via energy resist and inequity that it's not going to be the fastest fight. However, if you're fighting a 6-star Photon like this, even with the Photon being a higher sig, meaning we're getting more debuffs on me, because of the fact that I am punching down, we're going to be able to take this fight better, just because of the fact we're punching down. It doesn't matter that Photon is Sig 200 in this fight. It really doesn't matter what Sig level Photon is in general for Dazzler. It just matters if they have the inequity mastery maxed out and what ranks you are playing against. Because if it's a 7-star rank 3 Photon, you might not have the best speed. You're going to have very good safety. I do want to reiterate on that, because Dazzler has really good safety against Photon because of the fact that it doesn't matter if she's in pure light, you're always going to be able to Dex. And yeah, the 6-star went down just like that. 63 seconds is fine. It could have been faster. Whatever, right? Next up, we're fighting Count Nefaria. I don't really know if this guy's going to be a meta defender or anything, but I had the fight recorded, so like, why not show it? I really don't think he's going to be that great of a defender moving forward, but he does have some annoying special attacks. That's kind of his defender gimmick, is just annoying special attacks. There was just a cheap light attack that I was not able to react to fast enough. That's one of my least favorite things about the AI now, is that they sometimes just do that cheap light attack. It is what it is. And then you can also just dash into the special attacks, as Dazzler does, and not worry about any of that. We have 3 triggers of inequity, meaning that's 18% less damage on that SP2, and we kill him in 42 seconds. As you know, SP1, SP2 kills almost everything, so that's actually the last of my victory track fights. The rest of the fights, which I intentionally put at the end of the video, are going to be power shield meta fights, because I want to show you the more realistic Dazzler fights, as I think those are obviously more important than power shield, funny, everything dies in one special attack fights. But obviously I'm going to show these because they were recorded, and this is the meta we're currently in. There's going to be a week left when this video is public, so you can definitely use your Dazzler to beat up some stuff in the Gladiator circuit. Starting with this Nefaria. In general, I think this is the weakest skill in the game for Dazzler. I don't think she's great for him, because once you drop all of your tempo into that one special attack, he's just gonna be in his second life where you have to re-ramp, right? So I think in a normal meta, this is about 70 seconds. In this meta, because you can skip your initial SB1 because of Power Shield, it's going to go down in 2 SB2s in about 65-60 seconds. But, yeah, this is like my least favorite skill in the entire class for Dazzler to fight in normal circumstances. So yeah, 62 seconds, pretty good this meta, and then about 70 in a normal meta. So next up is Mantis, just a random rank 2 Mantis. Again, these Gladiator circuit fights are just like kind of whatever. Because most things just die anyway in 1 SP2 with Dazzler. So this Mantis is next. I believe I'm just gonna bait 2 SP1s instead of pushing her to SP2. I don't think you really need to push her to SP2, but let me see what I actually do. So yeah, we just bait this first SP1, and then I go for the heavy attack there. I need her to drop this, and then we go for the counter, and then this Mantis is just dead right here. Went for a little bit more tempo. Is she gonna live? No, she's okay. She definitely did not live. Okay, she did not live at all. Noted. 42 seconds. Cool. Next up, we're fighting Iron Man Infinity War in the Gladiator circuit. I think this is the last fight. I haven't used Dazzler a lot in the circuit. She's been banned for many matchups, deservedly so. I don't think she's like one of the top 5 options this circuit meta, but she's very, very good for it, right? Anyone who can kill in a 1 SP2 is going to be kind of what you want. And Dazzler with Power Shield definitely can do that. So here he has 4 armor. I need to slow play a little bit there. Because of the root, it just made my dash attack go a little weird, as you saw there. So that was a little annoying. But here I'm going to go for the SP1, which, because it's Iron Man Infinity War, I think it made sense to try. I don't know if you really need to do that, but we did it anyway. And I should have just... Oh, wait, no, Fear. Oh, I'm glad I didn't drop that SP2 immediately because of Fear. I would have just failed the unblockable. But yeah, that is going to be the video, actually. I hope this was very educational to you for Dazzler. I know a lot of people don't have her yet. If you bought the $25 Trek, I believe you get her in late February. If you don't, she goes in the Titan in March. So you're going to get her eventually. You're going to love her when you do get her. I promise you, she is one of my favorite characters released this year. Probably top 5 easily, maybe top 3. I don't think I enjoy playing her more than like Arcade or Enchantress, but I think those are like the only 2 that come to my mind that I would play more. She's a blast to use. She's going to be a blast for your account in Battlegrounds and a bunch of other game modes, which I have yet to show because, again, I'm not going to show all my tricks yet. We're going to get to that when we get to the showcase in a week or 2 weeks, something like that. I got a lot of content to work on, and it's New Year's tomorrow, so give me some time, and then I'll see you with that. That being said, if you would like to help me get to 7K in the next 12 hours as of publishing this, that would be awesome. If it's not possible, no big deal, but like, I just wanted to see. So, thanks for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video.